This Casio is really ugly, but I can't take it off. What's up with that? Hello and welcome to Just One More Watch. I love Casio. They are my favourite brand of watches, but my love isn't blind, even though sometimes I wish that it was. There are some pug ugly Casios out there, and indeed I have reviewed a few of them, including the DW290 and the DW291. There are plenty more though that I have ignored completely, many of them coming from within the G-Shock range. But though the G-Shock on my wrist today may be a bit of a hoofer, I cannot stop wearing it. I think it is fantastic. There is no nice way to put it though, that colour scheme is just bloody awful. I mean, orange, yellow and with a grey strap. I don't think they could have chosen a selection of three colours that were less complementary to one another than they did. But the watch itself, the GBD-200, is like a horological onion. You just keep on peeling off layers of utility. If you want a tough digital daily with stopwatch, alarm, etc., and with the best negative display I have ever seen, you've got it. If you want a watch that hooks up to your phone for accuracy and setting purposes, and sends you call, messages and email notifications, and keeps track of your daily step count, you've got it. And if you want a watch that has all of the above but with full workout, running, cycling and training, mapping and logging capacity, which links to other apps like Strava, you've got that too. And with a battery life of a year plus. Now this is part one of my reviews of this watch, as there's just too much for me to get through in a single video. I'm only going to peel off the top two layers today, but I promise to return with a video on how this watch performs as a daily semi-smartwatch, particularly how it copes as a running companion, both with and without a phone accompanying it. I'm doing a half marathon at the end of next month, July, so it seems like a perfect opportunity to test it out. Now, I didn't actually buy this watch, it was sent to me as a gift by the ultra generous Adam over in Melbourne, aka Blue Moose Racing on Instagram. I'll leave a link to his IG in the description of the video. He also sent John Wood Jr. a Grogu plushie. He's a fellow sci-fi geek and he knows me too well. I don't mean to sound ungrateful towards Adam, we spoke about the colour of this one already. I actually like this watch so much, I bought a black one for myself. My other good friend in Melbourne, Ashley, had an orange one that he managed to destroy by not replacing the battery properly. It now lives frozen on that particular screen in a Ziploc bag. I have brokered a deal between them whereby I send this one to Ashley and he sends Adam something interesting and everyone's happy. Watch people are lovely people, are they not? Anyway, let's flip the camera and peel this onion. My eyes are stinging already. Okay, let's do it. Let's peel off the first two layers of this horological onion then. While I'm getting into the box, let's talk price. eBay.com, probably the go-to place for these ones, starting at about $115, $120 depending on colorway, then moving upwards from there, plenty of them available. Amazon, a little more expensive, $150 to $175, again depending on color. I'll leave links to both of those in the description of the video. I'll also leave a link to where I got my one from, my black one, currently on order. Tic Tac Area, a Spanish dealer. I think this is the 5th Casio that I bought from them. $108, that is a hot price. They only have a couple of colours available though, and obviously import charges will vary, but it works for me. It might work for you. Okay, I promise I'm not going to spend the entire video bagging out this colour combo, but my goodness, it is awful. I mean, orange is okay on its own, but orange with yellow, orange yellow with grey, what universe does that work in? Not this one anyway. Alright, let's do the basics, the dimensions first of all. This one coming in just under 46, I measure it at 45.6mm in diameter, 13.8mm thick, lug to lug, taking it from those little hex bolts running through this one, connecting the head of the watch to that slightly unusual yellow coloured acrylic section, and then onto the resin band. That's a 48mm measurement. Lug width is NA on this one. I don't think there are kits available to convert it to anything other than the standard resin band. Don't worry about those dimensions though if they seem big, because the weight is only 59 grams. This is probably a constructive comparison next to my Square Gs, or one of my Square Gs anyway. I think I've got 3 at the moment. It is a little bigger, but it's not too big, I don't think. And check the clarity of that display. It is outrageously good on the 200. So the usual mixture of resin and rubber. Kind of clear resin outer on this one. There's an orange rubber inner protecting the module. There's that funny piece joining the two with that hex bolt, and we have that grey strap. These are actually okay because the holes are spaced closer together than they are on other G-Shocks that I've seen. Slightly unusually, it's a metal tang here, but it is still a resin buckle. Case back is stainless steel and screw on, 200 meters of water resistance, which is the standard for all G-Shocks. Couple of interesting things to note. It's a module 3506, and underneath that G-Shock resistant label in the center, acceleration sensor. This one has an accelerometer, hence why it can give you your daily step count. But that is layer 2. Let's talk about layer 1 first. 5 buttons. The central one here is the light. The white backlight is just as fantastic and super legible as this watch is during the day. Okay, so the 4 buttons on the outer edges of the watch on the left and the right in the standard positions are as follows. Display and mode, which double up as forward and reverse, as you can see on the inner edge of the screen there. We have start and lap, which double up as run and back. I'm not going to get into the run or the workout functions today. That is the 3rd layer of this particular onion. I will show you the app briefly later on. This G-Shock comes with its own G-Shock Move app. It means it's now the 3rd Casio app on my phone, in addition to the regular G-Shock app and my Oceanus app. As I said, more on that later. Let's have a look at the basic functions. Fantastically legible display, this one. It really is. And you can adjust what you see on it. I'll show you that in just a second. Time in the center there with AM, PM. You can switch that to 24 hours using the app if you want to. We have month and day of the month up the top, day of the week, and permanently ticking second down on the bottom right. Top left is a Bluetooth symbol because it is currently connected to my phone, and that is the notification symbol next to it because I have notifications set to on. Down the bottom I have turned the sounds off, but I have turned the vibrations on for those notifications. One thing I really like, the display button up here, it cycles through a number of options. This is the step counter as discussed. I wore this watch all last week, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I hit my step quota, took it off on Saturday when I got back from Cairns and popped the watch back on today, Tuesday, for this review. You can see you still have the home time there in a decently legible size of font with the day, the month and the day of the week, etc. If I press this once more, it gives the monthly run indicator. Again, you can set targets using your phone. Like I said, I haven't really set this one up to run yet. One more press and you've got a dual time feature. You can show a world city. I have chosen London. Sydney obviously being my home city. Press it one more time and you're back to the regular. Heaps of options with this one. Frankly, if you have concerns about a second time zone, you can run this and it's still pretty clear which is your home time. Both still very, very legible. All right, so that's the display. Let's have a look at the modes then. Let's have a look at the stopwatch and the alarm specifically to finish off with layer 1. Let's get it back to the regular home time. So one push of the mode takes you to workout, not today. Next one is stopwatch. One push of the top pusher to start, one push of the top pusher on the right to stop, and one push to reset. You note it's only in full seconds though, so if you do need to time something to a 10th or even a 100th of a second, this may not be the watch for you, but you also note the display is so large, the home time is permanently displayed down the bottom there. Fantastic. You don't get that on all Casios. I personally really enjoy that feature. Reset that one, and then into this activity tracking mode and notifications. If you want to set all this manually, hold that down for 2 seconds. Now it is a little bit clunkier than your standard 4-button G that you might be used to. You can adjust the home time here, time adjust, world time, and alarms. You've got 4 alarms on this one. Again, you can set those individually. You can do all of this on the app, but at the moment, this first layer, we're not bothering with the app. Back again, down from alarm system to profile. From here you can adjust the user profile, then you can adjust whether it beeps or vibrates, how long the light stays on for, whether the light is auto on or not. You can pair it with your phone at this point, turn it into airplane mode, and it even has a phone finder function. So if you are hooked up to your phone by Bluetooth, you hold down a button and your phone will start singing at you. Useful if you've dropped it down the side of the sofa and have forgotten where it is. Units, you can adjust the units from kilometers to miles, etc. Reset all back to factory. Back button once and you're taken back to the home time. Okay, so that's us done with the first layer then. Even if you never hook this watch up to your phone, if none of the extra features are of interest to you, you have a reasonably priced at between 125 and 150 US dollars, average anyway, reasonably sized, I think, lightweight G-Shock with all of those usual protective features, 200 meters of water resistance, etc. An incredibly legible display either by day or by night. Menu system, not as easy though, I will say that, and the stopwatch, as I said, not as accurate either, only down to 1 second. But even then, get the right price on one of these and get the right colour on one of these, and I think there's enough to recommend it, even if you don't take this watch any further. But of course, this watch can do so much more. Let's have a look at the app. Okay, so this is the watch now connected to the G-Shock Move app. Much like the watch itself, the menu system on the app is a little bit slower than the regular G-Shock app that I'm used to. Perhaps it's because it's a relatively new app, this watch only being launched last year. What I'll do to show you how it works in real time is I will change the time display. I'd adjusted it to 24. I'll pop it back into 12-hour mode. I will send that to the watch and you can see it update there. You can adjust the 4 alarms that way. You can adjust the home time, the world time, etc, etc. You can adjust the backlight to be an auto backlight and so on. I used to think these apps were a bit of a gimmick, but now I am properly into them, especially as I don't have access to the atomic clock here in Australia. That means that the app will adjust the phone to the right time all of the time, which is fantastic. Now let's have a look at sound and vibration here, because this is important. This brings me on to the next section, which is the notifications. Now, notifications, I've got all of those set on. Now, these are the watch's internal notifications. Also, I have it set to pick up notifications from my phone. One problem with that though is it sends every single notification from your phone to your watch, and it does so 24/7. So if you have this one on vibrate like I have, your watch will vibrate throughout the course of the night if you get emails, messages, news updates, etc, etc. So that's something perhaps you want to look at. It's not something you can adjust on the app here, it's something you'll have to adjust on the settings of your phone. So yeah, it's good, but it's not without its downsides. So what do these notifications from your phone look like on your watch then? Well, when they arrive full screen. You still have the time permanently displayed at the bottom, which, as discussed earlier on, is great. If you miss them and want to find them a little later on, you cycle back through. Here we are, one new. What do we got? There's a WhatsApp, there's a breaking. What's breaking? Breaking, Australia's energy market operators forecasting power interruptions. Right, I better hurry up before my electricity gets cut off. What else have we got down here? WhatsApp, Amy Stewart, that's my wife, nappy change time. Okay, let's pretend that one didn't arrive. There are some notifications you want, there are some notifications you don't want. It's not ideal, as discussed, because you're pretty much opting all in or all out for alerts by vibration. Sometimes that's useful if you want to pick up a call, but it's not useful if you're getting an email at 4 AM, if you see what I mean. But overall, I'm quite getting into it. I haven't had a smartwatch before. This is as close as I've got. Yeah, I'm going to give this one a good run over the next month or so when my black one arrives, see how I live with it long term. So that's where I'm going to leave the GBD-200 today. That, I believe, is the end of the second layer of utility. I'm not going to discuss any of the workout settings and the running, etc. One thing to note though is that it does need your phone to operate the GPS. It doesn't have GPS built in, it doesn't have heart rate monitoring built in, and it doesn't have music built in. Obviously, it's relying on your phone to do 2 out of those 3, so perhaps it's not quite as versatile as a purebred running watch would be. So what have you got, even if you're not into that whole running thing? Well, I think you've got a relatively attractive, if you pick the right colour, and relatively well priced, fabulously legible watch that's slightly awkward to use if you really dig into the menus, but if you're just using it at a surface level and you quite like the odd notification sent to your phone, I reckon this one is great. Plus, let's not forget, it's a G-Shock. That means you can beat the hell out of it and it just won't care. That's not something you can do with an Apple Watch, I don't imagine. Certainly not at the prices that they're charging for those things. It may be ugly, but I think it's awesome. So there you have it. Pretty much for the price of a regular G, you get a regular G that does so much more as well. You then get to decide how much or how little of it you want to take advantage of. I think it's great. If this is all too much and you prefer a basic G, why not check out my review of the Square G or the Solar Square G. Thanks for watching. I'm now off out for a run.